Last month, Charlie Paparella was on the show, and he brought with him some really interesting old books about Delmarva. That got us thinking about all the other cool things that people must have.
So we asked you to get in touch with us if you've got anything you'd like to share, sort of like a show and tell. Well, that's how we found out about Frank Brown and his model trains. Now, Sean Stryker's at Frank's house in Ocean Pines. So, Stryker, Frank has really been working on this for quite some time now.
Yeah, so Frank started his collection over 60 years ago when he was still a little kid. Obviously, over the years, his collection has grown, and then in October of last year, he started work on his model railroad in the upstairs of his home here in Ocean Pines. I'm with Frank Brown now, the creator of this amazing display. Frank, thanks for joining me.
Nice to meet you.
So how did you get into collecting model trains?
I started when I was a kid, probably maybe 8, 10 years old, and then had 4 or 5 sets then, and then as we got older, sort of things got put in boxes. And then back in about 1982, I got back into it again when my kids were little. And we kept going to model railroad shows and so forth, and it grew and grew and grew, and now I have probably at least 300 to 400 different pieces of.
And the second floor,
O-gauge.
a room in the second floor of your home is dedicated to your model railroad, and this is a lot of work that goes into it. How do you go about creating something like this?
It starts out with basically a builder's thing. You build a plywood base, and then on top of that base you lay the road bed, and then on top of that comes the track, and then after you have all that wired up, then you go back to the scenery. And the scenery is the fun part, because that's the part where you get to build the houses and detail them, and detail's what I love.
You were a builder, so
yes,
that's why you enjoy this. And the detail in this display, it is phenomenal. You were telling me the bricks have to be painted by hand.
Right. The kits come from Corber or many other manufacturers, and they're just plain red plastic when you get them, but they have indentations on them. So you start out with these little indentations and take some wet spackle and smear it into the indentations and wipe it off, and keep doing that until you get it looking just right, and then go back with a little brush and paint in different color bricks. And then the final step, which hasn't been completed on some of the models here, is a chalk dusting that you go over
just in case it wasn't real enough.
Right.
And so this display up here, this is obviously permanent. This is going to be here forever. This is about 1/3 of what you want it to be ultimately. But downstairs you have a completely different display for the holidays, which is quite impressive as well. And that's probably what most people know, is you take the model trains out for the holidays. And a lot of people come and enjoy that.
Yeah, that's what we've always done since we got married, was to start just a small set of trains, one train maybe under the tree, and it's grown a little bit to two sets under the tree now and a bunch of little houses. But we set that up right after Thanksgiving, and it'll come down sometime in January.
So we've been talking about it enough, and we had to shut the trains down because they're loud, they're very realistic. I say we get them going. What do you say about it? All right, so you're going to get this going. We're going to get some of the other displays working. We're going to show you just how impressive this is. You can hear them starting up. I'm getting excited. This is so cool walking around this display. They have diners, there's a McDonald's, they have a beach, a whole town here, and you know, really cool. Up front over here we have a little fair, if you will, and here come the trains. You can hear them revving up. They're starting to move. Look at this. Look at this go. This is so cool. This is show and tell at its greatest. There's smoke. Some of these trains have smoke coming out of the smokestack. It's coming around. Oh man, Jimmy and Lisa, this is show and tell at its greatest. Like I said, if you guys at home have something that you want to show off, if you think it's worthy of coming on DelmarvaLife, please get in touch with us. Send us an email or get in touch with us on Facebook. I'm going to play with this train set a little bit more, Frank, if that's cool. Sure. You can show me some of the details. And I'm going to send it back to you, Jimmy and Lisa. This is so cool.
Yeah, I think we're done seeing Sean for the rest of the day. What do you think?
Yeah. Something that fascinates me is it's not just the trains.
Yeah.
There's so much in the trees and the buildings and the structures.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much is involved in that.